So today we're going to be working on this 2003 BMW X5 E53 model. It's in for a few other issues, but on this video what we're going to do is we're going to be changing the window regulator for the back right hand door. As you can see, it's held up with tape because it just folds. And I'm pretty sure because the part that attaches the glass to the window regulator inside the door has broken. So we've got a new window regulator, and so we're going to pull this door trim off. We're going to pull this door apart, get to the window regulator and make sure we've got the right one, because I think there are a couple different variants in them. And then we're going to go ahead and change it over. So hopefully after we put a new regulator, it'll fix this issue and he can have a working window again. So I think there's a couple torque screws that hold this door trim on. There's one here. One. There may be some hidden under this trim. There we go. There's another one. Here we go. I think it's a down low. So that's a T20. And this one looks like a T30. The third stripped anyway. There may be some under. Have one there. Another T20 hiding under this. And this is just clipped on. You don't have to slide it or anything, it just pop it straight off, and you've got access to the T20 on top. What we're going to do is we're going to try and unclip it. Got an airbag tag here, pop that off. Another T20 hiding behind it. Okay, now lift up. Now you've got to be careful because you'll have a cable mechanism running to the door handle. When that's hooked in the door, it'll be hooked in like this. You just lift up the back like that, and then it'll slide out. You've got a plug. Got one plug down low for an interior light. That should just pull out like that. And of course you also have your window switch, which mine is just pulled out of the housing. Looks like it's seen better days. But that should stick to the door trim, and you should be able to just, same thing like the interior light, just pull that out like that. Now that you have the door trim off, you can inspect the window regulator and actually see if it is still intact and if it's operating alright, and then see if it's an actual problem with the glass itself. So that's the door trim off, and I can already see the regulator as seen by day. Someone's already hacked into this because this usually has a big piece of foam that they've just ripped off, but that's your cable that runs your glass up and down, and it's not supposed to be like that. Not supposed to be loose. So I dare say somewhere up there is a break where it attaches to the glass, but we will find out. So the next thing that we'll do is actually compare. Before we pull this one out, we will compare from what we can see if the new one is the right one. So it sits like that. Obviously an aftermarket one, genuine, would cost an arm and a leg. Well, then you've got that and that. So far, so good. Okay, so what they've done is they've just moved the plug. So the plug on this goes directly to the motor there. Whereas on this, the plug is a little loom that comes off the motor. So you get a little bit extra slack in the loom. But looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking it off. Right, so I'm just going to expose. Well, someone's already done half the job for me and exposed half of it. From what I can see so far, you got one 10mm, another 10mm in there, inside that hole. And the plug. And then, if that's broken off the glass, that should just come out. Alright, so we might need to actually move the glass down to give this enough room to slide it off the studs and get it out of the door. So if it's the case where your glass just falls, whatever you got holding it up, like in this case it's tape, stick your hand under the glass as you're taking the tape off, otherwise when there's not enough force holding the glass up, it's just going to drop inside the door and you might be up for a new glass as well. Ah yeah, snapped off. So there's one bolt that goes from the regulator into a bracket that's attached to the glass. That's what holds the glass to the regulator. So you need to line up the bolt with one of the holes in the regulator so you can get access to the bolt. So I'm not sure if you can see. Right there, 8mm bolt. We'll undo that. And then should be able to get the regulator out. Factory BMW. So, I don't know if you can see, but you have a nut that needs to stay captive in here. So then when you put your regulator back on, you have something to bolt to. We'll get our new regulator, we'll put some covers over the studs. There we go. Right, so the way that they've set this up, once the motor's on it, you can't actually fight against it, and they haven't lined up the hole. This, where the glass sits, that bolt goes through here. They needn't line that up with the hole, so what we're going to have to do is just temporarily plug it in and use the window switch to just move this part up until we have access to the hole. A good start, the plugs are right. On my window switch, plug it in. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that, why not? Perfect. At least we know it works too. Right, we'll get this into position carefully without try not to scratch the fuck out of the glass. We may need to hold the glass out the way to give you enough clearance. Then we just need to put the bolt back into the glass. Right, so you've got your bolt in your glass. Start the three nuts on the regulator. And now, do not do up any of these, especially the one for the glass, with an impact. Okay? I use a small quarter drive ratchet, tiny little fucking thing. In. Now before you put the door trim back on it, test it, make sure it works all good. And this also gives you a good chance to watch while everything's moving, in case anything's getting caught, shuffle things around a little bit, just so you've got a nice smooth operation of the glass, nothing's pushing against it and just giving the motor a hard time. All good. Now we can put everything back together. And of course you get an air freshener. Anyway, that's the video on how to do the window regulator in a rear door on a BMW. The principle is very much the same across all makes and models of cars, front and rear doors. Some regulators are just harder to get out. Sometimes you have to pull the glass completely out of the door and slide it out the top. It's just depending on the car. Personally, being a BMW, this was actually relatively simple. So I hope this helped you if you are about to do a window reg on the BMW X5 E53 and you didn't know what you're about to get into. See you next time.